Hello, hello, hello. I am your host OCL, and welcome back to One Century Later. Today we'll be taking a look at all events from July 25th to July 31st, 1926. As with last week, all of my sources are in the description down below. Sunday, July 25th, 1926. On the last Sunday before the anti-religious Calles law took effect in Mexico, protests were held throughout the country, with thousands of Catholics making a pilgrimage to their local church. The largest of these pilgrimages was in Mexico City when thousands formed a procession to the Basilica of Santa Maria de Guadalupe. At the same time, 8 of Mexico's archbishops and 29 of Mexico's bishops signed a pastoral law ordering the suspension of services in all churches effective July 31st, the same day that the Calles law would take effect, as well as calling for the boycott of businesses that supported the Calles law. Monday, July 26, 1926. The Convention and Statute on the International Regime of Maritime Ports, which was signed on December 9, 1923 by the British Empire, Germany, Belgium, Brazil, Bulgaria, Chile, Denmark, Spain, Estonia, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Japan, Lithuania, Norway, the Netherlands, El Salvador, the Kingdom of the Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, Siam, Sweden, Switzerland, Czechoslovakia, and Uruguay went into effect after being ratified by the necessary number of countries. The treaty states that in peacetime, signatories would allow all ships the freedom to access their maritime ports and would not discriminate against ships based on the flag flown. The treaty forms the basis of today's maritime law with regards to port access. Also on this day, a group of 600 Swiss army recruits and their officers climbed the 3,246-meter-tall Devil's Mountain. The group started climbing at 11 p.m. local time the previous night, with each recruit roped to 4 others and only one soldier in each group of 5 holding a lantern. The entire group reached the peak at 8:30 a.m. local time, and after 1 hour rest for breakfast, descended. Not a single person was injured during the entire hike. Also on this day, in an effort to stabilize the failing French economy, the French Prime Minister Raymond Poincaré announced an increase on business taxes and tariffs on imported goods to protect imports from French colonies. The French franc rebounded after its announcement, reaching 39 francs per US dollar after its low of 49 francs per dollar on July 20th. The most destructive hurricane in the Bahamas recorded history struck the islands with an estimated wind speed of 220 kilometers per hour. An estimated 460 people died from the hurricane, with the Bahamas holding 260 of those, and an estimated $8 million in damages in the Bahamas. Many of the deaths came when boats overturned as people attempted to flee the islands. 40 people drowned on the government mail boat Albertine Adieu, and 20 on the mail boat Bronce, and at least 75 other ships sunk. And lastly on this day, Robert Todd Lincoln passed away at the age of 82 from a cerebral hemorrhage. He was the U.S. Secretary of War from 1881 to 1885 and the U.S. Ambassador to the United Kingdom from 1889 to 1893, and the last surviving and eldest son of Abraham Lincoln. Tuesday, July 27th, 1926. The new government of French Prime Minister Raymond Poincaré received overwhelming support from the Chamber of Deputies during its first vote of confidence thanks to the Poincaré Stabilization Law, with the Chamber of Deputies voting 358 for and 131 against the new government, almost exclusively communists and socialists voting against. Wednesday, July 28th, 1926. The 1925 Geneva Opium Protocol, signed by the British Empire, British Raj, France, Japan, Netherlands, Portugal, and Siam, also called the Agreement Concerning the Manufacture of, Internal Trade in, and Use of Prepared Opium, went into effect with the signatory nations attempting to bring about the gradual suppression of opium. The only airplane designed to be carried inside a submarine, the Martin MS-1 seaplane built for the U.S. Navy, went through its first and only demonstration on the River Thames in London, England. The U.S. submarine USS S-1 surfaced, and the MS-1 was assembled, launched, recovered, and stored back in the S-1. The demonstration showed the impracticality of assembling the seaplane during war, and the project was quickly abandoned. And lastly, on this day, a treaty was signed between the United States of America and the Republic of Panama to settle points of contention from the 1903 Panama Canal Treaty. Included in the treaty, Panama gave the U.S. full access to use, occupy, and control in perpetuity a portion of the Manzanillo Island to safeguard the Atlantic entrance to the Panama Canal. Thursday, July 29th, 1926. For the first time in 400 years, Italians were prohibited from making the pilgrimage to the Church of the Madonna del Sasso in Locarno, Switzerland, after Prime Minister Benito Mussolini ordered that Italians should spend their money in Italy. Al Capone was freed after spending one night in jail after being charged for the April 27th murder of Assistant State's Attorney William McSwiggan and two rival gang members. The new state's attorney, George Gorman, said Illinois did not have enough evidence to support the charges against Capone, and Chief Justice Thomas Lynch dismissed the murder warrants. Friday, July 30th, 1926. Elections were held in the Netherlands for 25 of the 50 seats in the Eerste Kamer, the upper house of the Netherlands bicameral Staten-General Parliament. The Social Democratic Workers' Party won the most seats during the election at 6, but their total number of seats remained unchanged at 11. The coalition between the Rooms-Katholisch Party, the Anti-Revolutionaire Party, and the Christelijk Unie maintained the majority at 30 seats. Saturday, July 31st, 1926. The anti-religious law reforming the penal code, known informally as the Calles Law, signed by Mexico's President Elias Calles on June 14, went into effect in Mexico. The law prohibited Catholic priests from holding services, wearing clerical clothes in public, or criticizing the government, with punishments ranging from a 500 peso fine to 5 years in prison. And that is all. See you all next week for all events from Sunday, August 1st, 1926 to Saturday, August 7th, 1926. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.